Good afternoon, friends, family, well wishers, people on social media. Good afternoon again, friends, family, people who couldn't be here. I know he was a popular man. We're just here to pay our last respects to the best man I know, Ramesh Gooptar. I mean, these not the forum for this kind of thing, but this show a lot, because knowing the man, this is not the way that he's supposed to get sent off now. Anybody know the man, know him to be alive, huh? And everybody love the man. I mean, I am not the best speaker. And it's kind of more difficult now because the man was like my best friend. I used to drink rum with he, and we used to lie like with his brothers. The man did love to lie with his family, and everybody know that he was a helpful person. Many in the ministry people just calling, friends calling, everybody wanted to be here. And it's kind of sad that we in this time right now that we can't really celebrate a life like that the way it's supposed to be celebrated. I mean, all COVID protocols, dead people in the room, I could understand all that, but somehow I feel that this is not really how he's supposed to be sent. And it's sad, but as you say, we have to deal with it. Life is dead, death is life. And we just as a family trying just to let everybody be part of this experience. Those who can't be here, you know, we just trying to make sure that everybody at least get some kind of closure, as difficult as it is now. I have my brother here. We're here today just to say a few words of what my father Ramesh Gooptar meant to certain people in his life who could have been here. Or fortunate, people always say they're fortunate enough to be here right now. I consider myself fortunate to be here right now, because when you consider all the protocols, it only have 10 people, and I consider myself fortunate for he to be my father. That's the best man I know. He help anybody. Up to Wednesday when he came out of the hospital, people calling, my money ready, boy, Ramesh, boy. And I had to tell the man, don't answer his phone. That's the kind of man he was. That's the legacy he will leave. And we have one or two well wishers. I'd like to call upon one of my cousins, Randy, who would say a few words on behalf of his uncle. Thanks to everybody on social media and everybody who is here. My name is Maran, the eldest son.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank people that is viewing. As Maran just said, today is a very sad day. Today is a very sad day for all of us. I refer to my uncle as Clarkie. Everybody know him as that. And as Malan just said, he is a helpful guy. He teach me a lot in life. He teach plenty people a lot in life. And as he said, he was never to back down from anybody. And many teachings he taught me, I will cherish that. Sorry. I will cherish that for the rest of my life. It's a sad way to see him go like this, because the amount of people he have touched in his lifetime. And to see him send up to this small gathering is unfortunate. On behalf of my family, To my cousins and aunts, I wish him all the best in his journey. And to make sure everyone, please remember my uncle for what he was. A good man, helpful, a good teacher. Thank you.
Hi, thanks all for being here, just family and a few friends. As the youngest son, known as Son of Boy, just want to take this time to call on the other cousin Sharon to come and say a few words again.
Good afternoon, my family, my friends, and all those of you who are in social media. I want to say that another leaf has fallen. I would like to say a poem for my uncle. Another leaf has fallen, another soul has gone, but still we have God's promises in every robin's song. For he is in heaven, and though he takes away, he always leaves to mortals the bright sun's kindly ray. He leaves the fragrant blossoms and lovely forest green, and gives us new-found comfort when we on him will lean. Today we are here to say our final goodbye. Goodbye to our dear uncle, Ramesh Gooptar. Goodbye to a man who has left his legacy amongst us here today. Goodbye to a remarkable and beautiful soul who will forever live in our hearts. My uncle Ramesh was the third child to our grandparents, James and Sumintra Gooptar of Cunupia, a past student of Cunupia Government Primary School and Hillview College, El Dorado. He grew up in a very poor home with his 3 siblings, and the last remaining one is my mother, who is here with us today. So yesterday I spoke to my mother and I asked her for some stories about our uncle. And she told me, my mother said he was a very obedient son and was always helping his parents with all the household chores, such as cutting up the mangoes, coconuts for my grandmother to go and sell at the Cunupia Government Primary School. She said he was also helpful with the animals. I didn't even know they had cows. She said Uncle Ramesh would help them milk the cows, and they would take the milk to sell at Nestle. I only found out that yesterday. So Randy and everybody, our parents, used to milk the cows, right? Uncle Ramesh was the most ideal child that any parents could have. My mother said he was the most disciplined and obedient child to his parents. Uncle Ramesh had one fault. He liked to swim in the river, right? So my mother said one day her mother was looking for him to do some chores, and she could not find him. So she sent our big uncle Sona, who is deceased now, to look for Uncle Ramesh. And lo and behold, Uncle Ramesh was in the river swimming. So guess what? Uncle Sona decided to go in and discipline Uncle Ramesh. So he took up all his clothes and left him by the river. So Uncle Ramesh had to walk home naked because he decided that he was going to swim and not do his household chores. So those were some of the memories my mother had of her little brother. He was a very disciplined child, as I said, and student. He worked at home and yet continued to do his school work. So growing up in a poor home in Cunupia, they had a lot of chores to do, but my uncle was disciplined. He studied and he did well at his O-levels exam at Hillview College, where he got all his O-level subjects. He went on further to do studies after O-levels, and he was well known for his mathematical and accounting skills. My Uncle Ramesh worked for several government agencies, ministries such as health, and in those days there was gender affairs. He worked for the Ministry of Works and Transport, and my mother said he also worked for the Magistrate Court, and so many other government ministries. He used his training and experience to be a blessing to those in our community, to our friends and our families. As Marlon said, he would often help. Even when he came out of the hospital a few weeks ago, people were calling him, asking for his assistance. Everyone in Couva would come to my uncle home to have their income tax processed, to have their passport forms filled out, to have their pension application filled out, and so many other forms they could think about. They came to my uncle's home in Couva. He did it all for free. That was the kind of person he was. No charge. When people volunteered to pay him, he would say, no, I am doing this because I want to. And that was the character of the man we are saying goodbye to today. That was the character of the person, and that is the legacy he is leaving with us today. Uncle Ramesh was a devoted father. He gave all his children their choice in life. He made personal sacrifices to provide for his children. I remember one day my uncle was speaking to my mother when we were quite young. He used to call her Sham, sometimes Samde, Shama. He said, Sham, I have to pay the mortgage and send them children to school. Things hard, Gil, but I will do it. And that is the father he was. He made a lot of sacrifices for his children. He made sure that his children were well educated and they were properly taken care of. Sometimes in life, there are many challenges we face. And there was one point in his life when he had to be both a mother and father to his children. And Uncle Ramesh never gave up. He stood the test of time. He supported his children through thick and thin. He was always there with his children. He never left them. He never abandoned them. He was always there. You know, many fathers out there now who leave their children and they leave their responsibility. But my uncle stood the test of time, and he stood with his children right to the end. He even stood up for his grandchildren now, his niece and nephews. We are all here today to say that our uncle never left us. He never forsake us. Whatever the needs we had, whatever challenges we had, we used to run to Uncle Ramesh, and he would give us advice. As Randy said, he would teach us, he would guide us. He would open his home for us. He opened his home for his nephews and niece and even the neighbors. Everyone was in his home. We will always remember the activities that Uncle Ramesh liked to partake of, which was cooking, especially on Diwali Day. Uncle Ramesh would cook up everything imaginable and invite the whole street into his home. He will invite all his nephews and nieces, and if we didn't show up, he was greatly offended because it was his form of love, his act of kindness, and he expected us to be present. Whenever he had a prayers, whenever he had a function, he made sure he was a Sham, tell Sharon and Richard. Sharon not answering her phone. Make sure you tell her, make sure she know that she have to come for this prayers and she have to come for this. So my uncle always included us in all his activities with his family, and he considered us as his children also, as Michelle and Randy and Richard. All of us, my cousins in Valencia, would know we were not just his niece and nephews. We were part of his immediate children. He loved to cook, and we will miss his cooking on Diwali Day. Uncle Ramesh was famous for his parsad. He made parsad for everybody, all the relatives and even his friends and neighbors. We will miss the Christmas lime and the Olias lime. Uncle Ramesh had barbecue activities. He would have food activities, and every activity, as I said before, he included his niece, his nephew, his neighbors, his friends. Everybody were invited. And we would sit together and talk. Uncle Ramesh had a routine recently where every Saturday evening, he and his sister, my mother, will sit together in the gallery and talk about everything under the sun. And before my mother reached, he would make sure that he cooked a meal for my mother. And both of them will sit and talk for hours and hours about everything. And this is what we will miss. And that was their weekend routine. On Sunday morning now, that was Saturday evening, on Sunday morning, he would walk to her home for a cup of coffee. And that is the relationship he had with his sister, my mother. Uncle Ramesh loved to sing. He sang Indian songs and he loved to dance. And Marlon said he enjoyed himself wherever he went. His niece and nephews loved him so dearly. He was always looking out for us and giving us advice and inviting us to everything, as I said, in his home, in his yard, wherever he go. If he had a function to go to and he had extra tickets, he called in Richard, he might call Randy, somebody he called in, because he always wanted us to be together. Uncle Ramesh loved cricket and football, for those of you who don't know. And every time I see Uncle Ramesh, he always wearing some football jersey. I don't know if he got it free from Marlon or what, but he always in a football jersey. He lived a very happy and blessed life. And he was always having fun with his grandchildren, children, and relatives. He also loved his carnival limes. I remember when we were younger, all of us used to go to the Queen's Park Savannah with Uncle Ramesh, Uncle Soda, Tanti Rade, all of us in cars, cramped up together, and we even just to sit in the Savannah grounds and just eat and talk and have fun as a family. And that is what we are. We are family. Our uncles, their generation, made sure that they included us in their activities, and they made sure and to let us know that we are a family. Well, I cannot forget the river and beach limes we had with Uncle Ramesh. Uncle Ramesh always cooking and looking for a lime. He made us laugh so many times. As children growing up, we had beautiful memories of Uncle Ramesh. Some of us said he was the life of the party. So today I say, I salute my Uncle Ramesh, a man of integrity, is how I would describe him. An honest and dedicated father and husband, a true soldier to our community, a man of dignity and great humility, a blessing and a prize from Almighty God. I say farewell to an angel who has left this earth, but who has gone to be with the Lord. He is in heaven. So today I end my farewell and my goodbye with this poem, As the Day of Sorrow Comes. As the day of sorrow comes, tears on our eyes, loneliness in our hearts, we say goodbye. Thank you for sharing your life with us. Without you, we would not know the love of God. For you are a blessing in our eyes. We thank the Lord for sharing you with us. He has given us a great gift that we will never forget. Even as the sun sets and the rain falls, which is falling right now, God is indeed amazing for knowing who we need. By Grace Noel Cowell. And today I say farewell to this beautiful soul, as I said, a man of dignity and great humility. And I say farewell to a man who will never meet somebody of this great character again. And thank you, God, for sending Uncle Ramesh into our lives. He will always remain in our hearts and in our memories. Thank you.
That was Miss Archie. That was Miss Archie. Father, that is his biggest niece. Next, I'll call Amrit, one of his past co-workers and dear friend.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am truly grateful to be given the opportunity during this COVID times to say a few words about Mr. Ramesh Gooptar. I met Goops, as we fondly call him, on a Friday in 2009, right before he took his promotion as the Auditor 2 in the Ministry of Health. We met at Trinidad Flavors, and we used to call it the second office. Initially, when I saw him, I remember the quiet confidence, the disarming charm, and the general good vibrations emanating, as we put it, the short man. When he started working with us, the Friday Panchayat, as it became known, became a weekly occurrence where Goops was master of ceremonies, advisor, and adjudicator of proceedings. The amount of knowledge, life lessons, and experience gained from those meetings were priceless. Honestly, it became so well known that officers from various ministries would bring their issues to the floor, where it was dissected, analyzed, and solutions achieved. This simple thing echoed the amount of respect he had earned over his years in the public service. Over the years, I got to know him not only as Ramesh Gooptar, the career public servant, walking encyclopedia of public service regulations and conventions, teacher and mentor, but also as Clarkie, a family man and a pillar of his community. Clarkie loved his children and was extremely proud of them. More so, his greatest joy were his grandkids, and he always said he couldn't wait to retire because he could enjoy them at his leisure. I observed the esteem the man had in his community. Everyone who knew him sought his advice and counsel. I still don't know where he got the time to listen to and assist any and everyone who came to him. He never turned down anyone, no matter what. He always assisted in some form or the other. I was fortunate to have known Goops and grateful for the time, knowledge, and energy invested in me and the many life lessons he taught me. A large part of who I am in my public and private life is because of his teachings, and I can say without fear of contradiction that it is the same for many others who are fortunate to know and work with him. For all the accolades, authority, and respect Gooptar garnered, he never lost his humility and human touch. He treated everyone with the same level of respect and importance without consideration for position. A permanent secretary and a clerk were given the same level of respect and consideration. Gooptar led by example and always extolled the virtues of good, honest work and compassion for our fellow man. We all know Goop's mouth, and that was part of his charm. He could change the mood of an entire room with a joke or a quip. He wasn't one to tolerate wrongdoing, and when it came down to work, he was a no-nonsense person who would defend the actions of junior officers when they did the right thing. Even after his retirement, we continued to seek his sage advice, and he was never stingy with it. He was always humble, ever giving, and empathized with everyone, helping as much as he could, because that was the type of person he was. All we can do now is follow his example and pay the kindness he showed us forward. Clarkie, you were a once-in-a-lifetime personality and a powerhouse of an individual. Compassionate, ever helpful, considerate, and jovial are just a few words that could describe you. I was privileged and blessed to know you as a friend, and so were many others. I know in my heart of hearts that through your seva, you have gained moksha. Thank you for all your advice, interactions, lessons, and knowledge you have imparted on all of us over the years, Goops. The void you have left can never be filled. Safe journey, my friend, until you're high up in other distance. Thank you.
I will now call upon Randy Rampasad. Hold on. Stephen.
Good day. everybody. Thanks for being here. Clarkie. I am Ramesh's second son. And what I could say about my father. You know, they have a saying, people say nobody's perfect, right? But realistically, there's a perfect human. You understand? I can remember, it just flashed back to me during one of my cousin's wedding, Nishal's wedding, I believe it was. So now I was the DJ. Yeah, all you remember that?
Yes.
Yeah. It had a little conflict with the music. Apparently, Sona only wanted to play Indian music. And we had a mixed crowd. And everybody was against Sona for that. May his soul rest in peace. But Ramesh, kill him dead. Hey, brother. And if you're wrong, you're right. And if you're right, you're right. So in other words, cover with everybody else. And that's what you can say, right? That is it. Anybody needed assistance, by the man they used to call. You understand? And to be realistic, there are plenty of people who know him when they wanted something. You understand? I ain't going to butter up nobody and I ain't going to tell you. That's the reality of it. And that's the reality of plenty of people. They just know you when they want something and you could help them do something. And although he knew that, he could still help you with it. You understand? Whatever he could have do for anybody, he would have do it. Whatever advice he could have given, he will give you. Sharon was right when she said that he never abandoned anybody. I wouldn't contest that. But he had people along the way with him. You understand? People might have their differences, but at the end of the day, whoever was best, that is what took place. You understand? The one thing my father always tried to do it was to mediate whatever situation. Bring it to calm and try and find the best solution for it. He was a solution person. He never really used to focus on the negatives, and if we, as his children, and his friends, and his family, and his well-wishers, if it's one thing we could take from him, or try to adapt from Ramesh Gooptar, is to always look at the positive aspects of everything, rather than focusing on the negative of it. Always try and look for a solution, because nothing is, how to put it, there's nothing that I do have a solution for. That is what he would have said. That is what he teach me. Although I was hard at learning, that is what he teach me. That is what I can remember. Although not too far from here, when he dropped me off Victoria Avenue, I used to go Tranquil for a couple of years. And when he swing on to Victoria Avenue and then he swing on to New Street and he drop me off corner New Street on Victoria Avenue. As soon as he pull out, I pull out behind him. is how it used to be. You know? I'll try and do like you, I'll try and focus on the positives, you understand? Try and focus on the positives and you leave me, boy, brother. You understand? I could try and mediate as well to try and keep that love there. You know what I mean? It's 4 we know. You understand? I know if it's one thing you go want is for we to continue loving and being there for each other. You understand? That is what I know that you go want, and that is what I will try and do for you. That is about it. I doubt it has somebody could hear or even whoever could even think about something negative to say about Ramesh Gooptar. You understand? And maybe I want to do a partners though. Because it's a couple of years he stopped drinking now, right? You understand? I mean, that is about it, but I think he still used to go on lime and drink soda. You know? Yeah. But I know him to be hiding a lot of his pain within inside and not even showing it on the outside to anybody. You know what I mean? And even up to the last year, I know he was grinding plenty inside. Yeah. Nobody could replace you. Again, I just want to say thanks on behalf of my family, myself, my siblings, my mother. Thanks for all who viewing this. Thanks for taking the time to celebrate the time that Ramesh Gooptar was here with us. And that's about it. I kind of lost words right now.
Steve, as you was touching on the point, the negative points, and he could not do no negative, none at all. But in my life, I would say he had done a negative. High blood pressure used to go straight up when I see my father drink at home, and that was almost every single day. So, as soon as Daddy come home, he would say, Kev, anything. He wouldn't even quarrel with me. But my blood pressure going up one time. It don't matter. Until Daddy come and get sick. And everybody know when Daddy gets sick and end up in the hospital and whatnot. And when Daddy come back out, Daddy had stopped drinking. Daddy had stopped drinking for 3 months. I remember that well. And that 3 months was some of the best memories I have with Daddy. And then after that 3 months, he used to still, within the 3 months, he used to still go by the bar and whatnot. And then little by little, Daddy started back drinking. And again, my blood pressure used to go right up. And after that day, Daddy drink and I see him and he come home and everybody know Daddy was when, you know, talking in his sleep and whatnot, and in the morning, I went and I tell Daddy, I was like, Dad, the 3 months that you didn't drink for was 3 of the best months in my life. I'd say I personally wanted to stop drinking. And after that, I don't know if it was just me or everybody else, but Daddy stopped drinking completely. And from that time, he was the perfect person, and again, he could not do no negative. So any wrong that he had, he always write it off. And in my heart, that would be the best man I know. And if I can be quarter the man he was, I will be a great man to my brothers and sister and family. I just want to be quarter, not even half, because I would never manage out there.
Junior.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is R.Perrott. Ramesh is my brother. We grew up together from small. I joined his family from 17 years, and we grew up together. Everything that I needed, I better ask him and he helped me. Every time, I'm sorry for this little emotion here, but it's hard to know that he had left us and going like this. He had loved us very much, he helped me very much, and my family. I want to say all the best that he liked. I lived I know, sorry about that.
Good day, everyone. I am his daughter, Clarkie niece, and I'm one of the niece that been with Clarkie from since I could have lied. I want to thank him for bringing Nazam home, which is my husband now, because I would have never met such a great person like Nazam if it wasn't for Clarkie. He has been there for me. Sometimes when I'm upset with my dad, I will bash my dad with Clarkie, so I don't know who I would talk to anymore. I miss his laughter, his jokes. He's always saying, niece, it's only you and I could start this dance, you know. I'm always the first. We go way back, and I like to tell you, Clarkie was just not an uncle to me, he was like a father to me. And I'll really miss him dearly. And the yard coming in to visit my father is not going to be the same. I'll miss his face when I drive in the street and I'll see him upstairs on his favorite chair. And then most of the times I'll meet him by his van and we will talk. He's always the first person I talk to before my father. My father knows this. If I see Clarkie, I must stop and talk to my uncle. I just want to let you know, Clarks, you're with my mom and your brother and Wendy and Tani Cinti and all of them that you have taken from us, and you're flying high with the angels. And have a good journey, Clarkie. Nice. Thank you.
Thank you, Uncle Harold, Michelle. And now call upon Junior.
Good afternoon, everyone. To those on social media, good afternoon. Thanks for viewing. To the members of the family. Words, I can't find the words. As an in-law, for those of us who share that same portfolio, this old man, boy, used to tell me, man is ass. I never used to understand what he meant for a long time, until I understand what he meant. A man's role in his family is to be the head. There's the best head that I know. He has given me plenty to mark myself up to. I know I will never reach. Brother, rest easy. I'll miss you. We will all miss you. Our conversations very early in the morning. Many of you all won't know, but we used to talk like 5:30 in the morning. All when he was in hospital, first person to call him, first person to call me. Because he used to call us the old people and we just get up early. And I would ask him how his night was, and one of the nights in particular, he told me that the person opposite him had passed. And how tough it was. I tell him, I say, don't worry yourself, you coming out from there, not knowing that you're going to take this journey. But it's a journey that we all have to take. But I want his sons, his daughter, his family to remember something. He's a man of love. Bottom line, Ramesh is a love man. He loves everybody. And I want the family to continue to share that love and that bond. Rest easy.
Just like to thank everybody for coming here today. Who could have come today? Those on social media, if things were different, COVID protocols, everything. The spiritual rites at the ceremony was done earlier on today at our home. The pundit didn't want to do anything here, so we decided on doing it home this morning. So this is a kind of impromptu service just to celebrate the life of the man that everyone knows. We really, as a family, did this because people who wouldn't have been here or couldn't be here at least could kind of experience it as best as we could at this kind of times. So again, I'd like to thank everybody who took upon themselves to be here, and I am fortunate to be here right now. I mean, this is not the platform for it, but that is the best man I know. As my brother say, if I am quarter of a man he is, I am a good man. And I will leave it just so. Thanks for everybody on social media, and thank you for everybody being here. Thank you. You have a song you could play. Ron.
Afternoon. Now we've gone over the protocol here a little bit, right? So what I suggest is if this is finished, will please some of you just exit.
विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे रामचंद्र के काज संवारे लाए सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुवीर हर्षि उर लाए रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरतहि सम भाई सहस बदन तुम्हरो जस गावे अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद सहित अहिसा जम कुबेर दिगपाल जाते कवि को बिस कही सके काते उपकार सुधी वही कीना राम मिलाय राजपद दीना तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माया लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना जुग सहस्त्र जो जन पर भानु लील्यो ताहि मधुर फल जानू प्रभु मुद्रिका मेरी मुख माही जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाही दुर्गम सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हारे राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे सब सुख लहे तुम्हारी सरना तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना आपन तेज समारो आपै तीनों लोक हाँकते कांपै भूत पिशाच नहीं आवै महावीर जब नाम सुनावै नासै रोग हरै सब पीरा जपत निरंतर हनुमत